What happened in the news? How is that made? Is my phone listening to me? How can I learn more about that? And more importantly, who do I ask? So you see a headline that tells you that a new poll finds that both candidate A landslide and candidate B narrow victory are possible given the information in the same poll, and you wonder, how can that possibly be?
I am Trent Gogler, Associate Professor of Mathematics at Lafayette College. Is this just the media covering their bases? Is this them making up for the poor job they did in 2016 with the polls? And the answer is no. And the reason has to do with poll variance. So what is poll variance? This is really just the margin of error, which is the amount that the poll could be away from the truth in either direction. So back to the headline. Imagine for a moment that the poll says that candidate A is leading by 7%. Suppose that the real margin of error for the poll is 8%. So if I go 8% in either direction, that could imply that candidate A wins by 15%, or that candidate B wins
by 1%.
So when the headline suggests that the poll covers all the outcomes from a candidate A landslide victory to a narrow candidate B victory, that's really just being honest and taking into account the margin of error of the poll.
Okay, but how reliable are the results in reality? Can we count on this information, and should we let this information affect how we vote?
So there could be another type of headline that you might read that says candidate A has a 75% chance of winning the election. There's a difference between that kind of a headline, which is telling you about a predictive model, and the types of polls that we've been talking about. A predictive model essentially takes a lot of polls and puts them together in such a way that it predicts the outcome of the election. And because the predictive models incorporate multiple sources of data, they may end up producing more reliable results. So imagine you've got a coin, and candidate A is on one side and candidate B is on the other. If you flip that coin twice in a row and candidate B lands face up twice, that had a 25% chance of occurring, and that shouldn't be shocking. And so if you read a headline that says candidate A has a 75% chance of winning, you shouldn't be shocked if candidate B wins, and you shouldn't let that change your voting behavior.